Kristi Gustafson Barlette with Times Union and TimesUnion.com, and welcome to 20 Things Plus, where we catch up with someone previously featured on the Times Union's 20 Things You Don't Know About Me. Today we are joined by Subrina Dhammi. Subrina is the morning anchor at WNYT Newschannel 13, and she was recently joined by new co-anchor Paulina Butska. Welcome, Subrina.
Hi, nice to see you, Kristi.
You too. I'm so glad that you are joining us. I've been very excited to have you. Your original 20 Things was incredibly popular. And so today we'll get an update on a few of those original items, and then we'll learn a couple of new things about you.
Great.
So the first one I really want to know more about is, I'm a morning person. I love the mornings, but I don't know if I could get married in the morning, but you got married at 5:30 a.m. on the Capitol. How did that happen? How did that come about?
So my husband and I eloped, and we originally were planning a wedding. We had an idea for a small wedding. We picked a venue in the Finger Lakes, and then as we started planning it more, we both kind of stopped and looked at each other one day, and we said, "Are you having fun doing this? Because I'm not having fun doing this, and why don't we do something different?" And so we decided to scrap the whole thing, and we wanted to take a big trip instead, but we wanted to time it out so that we got married and left right away to go to the airport. And so the only way that would work out is if we got married very early in the morning at 5:30 a.m. And this was before I was on the morning show. So I was not very much a morning person at that point, but we timed it out. So we got married and we left right away and went to JFK. And we picked Empire State Plaza because we wanted just to pick some place that was Albany, that represented Albany. We met around here. And it's such a beautiful setting. And so that's how the whole thing panned out. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, by the way.
Oh, very cool. Now, what time of year was it? So was the sun up?
No, it was October, and it was so cold, and it was 40 degrees that morning. And that doesn't sound terrible right now, but when you're coming out of summer into that cold, and I had a dress on, and I refused to wear a coat. It was so cold, but
Well, it worked.
It was a 5-minute ceremony. Done.
5 minutes and 10 years. Very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The next one, and I remember reading this originally and it surprised me. You don't particularly care for public speaking, which just seems crazy to me because obviously you're so poised and composed on air.
Oh.
How is that?
Oh, thank you for saying that. You know, what's funny is when you and I messaged about doing this again, I originally wanted to revisit this because I'm still scared of public speaking now, even several years after doing my original 20 Things with you. It's just, you know, what's different is the camera is one thing and a room full of people is another. And I grew up performing dance. And I remember back then having to find a way to get over that fear of everyone looking at me. And so I would pick a spot in the back of the room and just stare at that. And so now even, you know, unfortunately, it's been a little while since I've done some public speaking with the pandemic and the events not happening, but still I have to kind of psych myself up a little bit and be like, how do I get over this? Or my husband will talk me down, or he'll send me text messages leading up to it just to get over the nervous feeling that I have about it.
Do you think when you're up there, you sound nervous? You know, sometimes you can tell because people's voices shake a little, or is it just your heart is beating internally, but your voice is coming out clear?
I hope it's the latter, that I don't sound as nervous, but I know sometimes I lose my train of thought and I feel like it's so noticeable, but others say it's not. So I've come up with a script doesn't work for me. Talking off the cuff doesn't work as well. So I've come up with bullet points, and that seems to be like how I can do it. But, you know, it's getting better. It's just, people are always so surprised, and it's, you know, the camera is so different than bunch of faces looking at you.
That is surprising. But another one that surprised me, and I loved watching this year, I follow you on social media. You're very active, especially on Instagram. And you took up a new hobby this winter and learned something new. And it was so fun to watch. And we actually saw improvement. So what happened there?
My daughter has been taking ski lessons. She started last year. She's 6 years old. She really took to it and she got it right away. And kids are, you know, they're like rubber. So it was no big deal with her falling. But this year, with everything shut down and not a lot to do, I said, you know what, if we're going to get through this winter and have some fun, maybe I should learn too. I've never skied before. I'm 38 years old. I've never skied before. And so my husband signed me up and I started taking lessons with her. And it was challenging. It was very challenging. As an adult, you're scared of falling. You're scared of getting hurt. She was just zipping down the mountain and I was trying to keep up with her. I took 6 weeks of lessons. I'm happy to say I made it to the top of West Mountain. I'm so happy. They're so patient, the instructors over there. And so I like it. I don't think I'm ever going to be like a fast skier by any means. I'm like a meander slowly down the mountain.
You're not going to be hitting those sticks where they race.
I'm not a Michaela Schifrin, no. But I'll get there eventually, just down the mountain at my own pace. But I had a new appreciation for winter. I am one of those people I think complains about the cold a little bit more. We live in the Northeast and people say, embrace it. And this is the first winter that I have to say, I really enjoyed it more.
Well, it's very cool. It's also nice and interesting to see what our kids can motivate us to do, and kind of, they push us out of our comfort zone sometimes even more than we push them. So that's always
absolutely. She was trying to give me portraits. She's like, here, mama, let me tell you how you should do this.
And she's probably right, which is the other cool part about it. Well, another fun thing that happened to you during the pandemic is you have a new member of your family, right?
Yes, pandemic puppy. We jumped on the bandwagon. We got a puppy. It was actually part of my daughter's birthday present. She turned 6 in November. We got a golden doodle. Her name is Ellie, and she's quickly become a wonderful member of our family. But boy, our puppy's a lot of work. I had no idea. It's been a long time since I had a dog, and I had no idea how much a puppy takes over your whole life. It was like having a newborn in the house in some respects all over again. We were up in the middle of the night, cleaning up mess, like all over the place. Now she's about 8 months old, and we're in a nice groove, but it's become, it was great. Also, my daughter's an only child. And when we were at the point where we weren't able to see friends as much, it was important, I think, for us to do something to add to our lives, to add for her as well. And, it became kind of a new companion for her in the house, and for a great distraction for all of us, honestly. There was no
fun too. You can't be sad when there's a puppy around, especially a golden doodle.
Oh my gosh, no, she's so happy to see us every day. And it is, I mean, dogs, there's a reason why they lift our spirits so much, right? So it's been fun. It's been challenging.
And it's also, that's another reason that people should follow you on Instagram, because you do post great photos. And you say it's been challenging, but I'm guessing at 8 months, is she housebroken and sleeping through the night, so to speak? No more.
Yes, but
all night.
She is thankfully housebroken, but my schedule definitely throws her off because
right.
I get up and leave in the middle of the night. So now she's out of a crate. She's just kind of roaming around. And so when I get up to leave, she's like, what's going on? We're going out? We're going on we're partying? Is it time to eat?
Time to play? What do I get to do?
Yeah, and I'm like, you're staying here. But it's nice to have someone get up with me, because I get up and I'm all by myself in darkness when I leave for work. And here's a little dog.
You can have breakfast together. So
right.
she can have breakfast with you.
She follows me around.
And your final one, and I love this, and I thought this was really interesting, because your makeup is always perfection. On air, it just looks beautiful. I always thought it was professionally done, and I think you had said, no, you do it yourself. And I know your daughter was asking about your makeup too, right? And showing some interest, and it sort of changed your view on it a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that, by the way, Kristi. And we put a decent amount of makeup on for TV makeup, stage makeup. And I got to the point where, I would come home, and if we were doing something on the weekends, I would be putting a little makeup on, and she started saying, I want to put some makeup on too. I said, why? You don't need any makeup. You're beautiful the way you are. So her response was, well, then why do you put it on? And I said, well, that's a great question. And so I put it on for work still. I mean, I have makeup on right now. I just came home from work a couple hours ago and haven't washed it off yet. But I decided, I want to actually follow through on that. And so if I'm telling her she's beautiful and she doesn't need makeup, then, part of my job entails putting makeup on. But if I'm not at work, then, I shouldn't have to put it on either, so.
And I think before becoming a parent, you don't realize that even at a young age, they're noticing and impressionable. They're noticing if what you choose to eat, or how you choose to get dressed or style yourself, or what you choose for activities. And you think, oh, they recognize that, they realize that. And then you don't realize, you don't recognize it. And until you see it and you hear it and you start to receive a reflection of yourself. And I think that takes us back to how I said, our kids really do teach us a lot.
They teach us so much. She has been my biggest teacher, and I would say even more so within the past year. And you're so right. They're such sponges, and we're living in a in a different time, I think, where, women are celebrating our individuality, our independence, our strength even more and more lately. And we want to model that even more for our daughters. And so when your little daughter brings up something like that, you're like, I got to do something to actually follow through and not just say it, but act it. Right. So I'm like, okay, well, this is one less thing to do. Don't need the makeup.
I was gonna say that, and that's it. Makes your weekends easier too.
Yeah, there you go.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Subrina. But before I let you go, we play a little game at this point in 20 Things Plus, where I will give you 3 clues for who will be featured on Monday on 20 Things You Don't Know About Me. So that's the regular list version that runs on timesunion.com. Goes live at 7 a.m. Viewers can guess by tweeting at Just Kristi, tweeting at Times Union, or commenting on this video on the Times Union's Facebook or Twitter. This is very tough. He's a little obscure, but he has a big event coming up. So that's one of the reasons he gets to be featured. So here we go. I decorated the 60-foot Christmas tree in Center Park in Cobleskill for the annual tree lighting ceremony for the past 5 years. It's very connected to that particular area. I've maintained the building and grounds at the Schoharie County Sunshine Fairground for the past 10 years, including setup for the local fair. And here is his big one that relates to his event. I've been photographing the eagles of Schoharie County since 2005. My favorite thing to do is photograph the interactions between the adult eagles and the newborn eagles and watch them develop. Oh. So if you guessed this, I would think you were tapping into my computer because he's incredibly hard to guess. But he's very cool. He's very interesting, and he has a great event coming up next weekend. So people can tune into timesunion.com on Monday morning and find out who's featured. And thank you again so much for joining us, Subrina. I love the morning show. It's really fun. The celebrations all 3 women do on social media is always very cool. The Inas, right? Sabrina, Paulina, and Christina. So, and then who needs to change his name? It's very good.
I'm going to tune in on Monday because I want to know who this is. This person sounds very interesting.
Yes, he's very accomplished. He's world renowned, but he's very well known in Schoharie County. So thank you again, Subrina.
No, lovely talking to you. Thank you. Bye.